It really isn't. I think people are still waiting and they're hoping and they're like, yeah, next year will be different, right?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
And let's expand on these ones, Oliver, because regarding your first statement, fail fast, is at the end of the day, tech entrepreneurs are going to, some of them, right? They are software developers and they love programming. And again, they jump into this mindset, my software has to be perfect, my software is going to change the world, my technology is going to revolutionize the industry. However, they are missing the point that they are running a business. And the more they love to write code, the more they love, they become so much product centric that my product is going to be so good that it's going to sell by itself. And Oliver, this is a little bit far from reality, exactly for what you described. Wherever you're starting off, for the 500, and this is go to all the industry, for the 500 millionaires that I interview in this podcast, I haven't found anybody yet that told me, Harry, you know what? The first product that I designed, how I did it, it was exactly what the client finally wanted. I'm still waiting for someone to tell me this. No one had told me yet. But the tech startup entrepreneurs, either the software developer or not, is so product centric. They think that he's not thinking that this product might need 5 iterations, 10 iterations in order to get to a product market fit. So what do you think that this problem is out there, Oliver? What word of encouragement you have for the people out there that understand these concepts, they can move forward and they can get on stock?
Yeah. So let's just pull that apart, right? And you touched on something really critical there. And let's bring it back to probably what most of your listeners are most interested in, which is how do you get to $1 million in revenue as a tech founder, right? You have to be solving a problem. Your technology, I'm sorry to say, is relatively irrelevant. It doesn't necessarily matter, right? Which is going to break the hearts of a lot of different coders out there. But if you were to hyper focus on a problem and solve that problem, you're going to get to $1 million in sales much faster than worrying about the product, right, itself. Because the product itself, the only reason it exists is to solve a problem, right? So be hyper fixated on that problem, and the outcome is going to be $1 million in sales, right? And I think that's really overlooked, particularly at an early stage, right? Particularly with tech founders, is they lean into what they're really good at, which is the coding and the tech and the platform or the product, right? And I would urge people to flip that and look at the problem and solve the problem rather than the product.
Yeah, Oliver, like I described to you before, I'm in the podcast. I invest in the tech space, and I give a lot of advice to tech companies out there, and you find when I started to help entrepreneurs in this space, they were telling me, Harry, you don't understand. Tech is different. You're coming from a different background, from different. I worked 5 years, by the way, doing software development in Java and Oracle when I was young, long time ago. Or the only job that the corporate job that I have in my life, yes, well, long time ago, 25 years ago, and so I do understand a little bit about software, yeah. Anyway, but when I start to go inside this to try to help this entrepreneur, I find I said no, Harry, because your businesses are different in industry. Tech is different, and Oliver, the more that I see tech, the more that I see that it follows the same parameters that the other businesses. If you exactly what you described, if you don't solve the problem and your product doesn't sell, I think that in the tech space at the beginning, it was a misconception. Obviously, there is a big benefit in tech, and that's why one out of six entrepreneurs that come here to this broadcast fight about to make the first million, they are tech millionaires, tech entrepreneurs. So it's of course you can make a lot of money in this industry. However, if when you have a business, when you solve a problem like you describing, and because of the tech companies have a higher valuation than other industry. For example, if you have a restaurant and you want to sell it, maybe okay, times three, times five profit. And if you have, I don't know, if you have a barber shop, so every industry have a different multiple that for profit, and this is how much more or less you can set that business. However, when you come to tech, you find that these multiples is 10 times, 12 times, can it be even 20 times that valuation, because it's the particular characteristic of that industry that, well, because the data and the value that the data have, data and how you use that data, that justify a big evaluation and so on. But so, Oliver, how different is really tech business for the traditional business out there?
Yeah. Again, something else that you mentioned there that's really important, right? And not all revenue is valued the same in essence, right? And that's one of the core reasons that the tech market gets those much higher valuations, is because traditionally that revenue is recurring revenue, based on subscriptions, right? And recurring
Absolutely,
revenue,
you're 100% right. You get
right?
the cash flow
And that's
consistently, right?
correct, right? If you've got people coming, if you've got a subscription and someone giving you money every single month, like a Netflix of the world, right? As an investor or an enterprise looking to buy your business, they can see that revenue over the next year or two, right? They don't have to go out and do anything else. They have that
Easily.
subscription follower. Therefore, they have that reoccurring revenue, and reoccurring revenue is absolutely critical. And that's something else I want to really hone in on to your listeners as well, is when you're thinking about your first million, think about what that actually means and where it's coming from as well, because $1 million in one-off payments is not the same business as $1 million in reoccurring revenue.
Absolutely.
Right. And actually, I would argue that a business that's doing 500,000 in recurring revenue profits is far better than an organization that's doing $1 million in one-off payments, right? Because the following year, you don't have to go out and get another $1 million. You've done it yourself, right? So yeah, and to answer your question, how different is tech to other industries? I mean, again, people aren't going to like my answer here, but all industries like to think that they're unique and different and difficult. It's the same. It's business, right? And
I agree 100% with you. I agree 100% with you. And the more that I see tech, the more, because now the venture capitalists and the angel investor, they have become very savvy now, right?
Yeah.
It's not like before that you go with a piece of paper and you tell a story and they're gonna hang over, because there were those days, Oliver. There was those day back in the day that you are a tech entrepreneur, you have a piece of paper, you have a beautiful story, and these people would throw money at you. But those days are gone. This is not the case anymore, correct?
Correct. No, it's absolutely gone, and it's not coming back anytime soon. Is the reality? It really isn't. I think people are still waiting and they're hoping and they're like, yeah, next year will be different, right?
It's not coming back. It's not coming back exactly. Anyway,
it's not coming back.
So
no, it's not coming back. The reality traction and profitability and recurring revenue is the new idea. Because that's, if you're looking for venture capital or even private equity, that's the only way you're going to get it. And that's the third and final point on tech as a specific industry. And what they do well is data, right? And utilizing that data accordingly and storing that data as well, because that data can then be utilized, as we've seen and heard about the goods and the bad over the last couple of years. So
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.